From Cali to Tally, it's time to wake up. WarChant.com is your ultimate Seminole sports source, and this is Wake Up War Chant. Now here's WarChant.com's Aslan Hudjavandi and Corey Clark.
Wake up! What up, everybody? Let's do it. It's the last show of the week for us. Hopefully, unless something really crazy happens. So hopefully it should be the last one for us. We don't want anything cataclysmic to happen to the program that we all care about and love and adore, right? It's Wake Up War Chant. I'm Aslan. He's Corey Clark. Use the promo code FSU Spring 2019. I think that promo code's still in effect. I think till the end of the week. Use it. Get 6 bonus months of your membership, as well as that $50 gift card certificate number. It's weird. Gift certificate's kind of like a physical thing, you know, but this is just a code.
Right.
Gets you $50 off of Garnet and Gold.
Promo code.
There you go. Promo code. All right, Corey, how are you?
I'm good, buddy. It's always good to be here in your presence. I feel like I've seen a lot of you this week, more than normal.
Man, I don't know what's going on right now. I'm so out of it, but we're going to do a show because the people want a show. We give people what they want around here, man.
That's how we do it. For the people that obviously none of you can see him, he's wearing a robe right now. Aslan's in a robe.
But they have like.
But he's got clothes on underneath.
Yeah,
I don't want you to get the wrong idea. He didn't just open the door in a robe like he's Harvey Weinstein over here. I mean, he's got clothes on underneath, but that was still a little startling to see.
Yeah, sorry about that, man. I was somebody chanted at me. Somebody tweeted at me and you and said, "Great stuff, guys, but Aslan, why are you bundled up like an Eskimo?" And Corey, with no hair, no hat, no heavy jacket, has no problem with the weather.
Well, it was a heavy-ish jacket.
Yeah.
Oh, are they talking about the video?
Yeah.
So they don't know that the hat I was wearing during the whole practice was a ridiculous sock hat with a little furry ball on top. But I don't care. I'm not proud. I'm not too proud to.
When did we get to that point where like you have to show off? Like it's cold and like, oh, I'm still wearing shirt. I'm still wearing t-shirt. And
I never reached that point.
Yeah.
I never reached that point.
Yeah, I feel a little bit. Perhaps maybe something's coming over me.
Well, Willie Taggart called you out a little bit, too.
He did. He came right at me, man. What's all about that?
Like it's not that cold, looking at how you were dressed.
And then he's like, just wait until you go to practice today. Wait till you hear what I have in store for you. And he played music.
Yeah, they did play music. The music was back.
It was back, everybody. There you
go. At a much decreased volume.
Yeah.
If last year it was an 11, like Spinal Tap, I'd say on Wednesday it was, like a 5?
Yeah.
I mean, it was, and they played some country.
It was White Boy Wednesday.
White Boy Wednesday, and they played some country, and but it wasn't.
Listen, nothing like a little Zach Brown band Chicken Fried that makes me want to really get after it and right the ills from a 5-7 campaign.
Sure. Well, I don't think what was funny is when I asked Janarius about it before practice, I didn't know it was returning. He's like, to be honest with you, I didn't realize that there had been no music until the break when they put the music on. He's like, before that, I was like, I thought the music had been playing the whole time. He didn't miss it. He didn't realize it was gone until they turned it back on.
See, Aslan, they're not even paying attention to the music, man. They're so focused on their craft, man. Get over it.
Yeah, well, they are. Hey, that's a good thing to hear. That's a good thing to hear from old J-Rob.
All right.
You're not paying attention to that extraneous stuff.
We're going to do Renegade Express. We're going to dive into all the questions that you folks have. Also, later on Thursday, we'll have, I think, around at 6 o'clock, we're going to have a live video chat with myself and Irish O'Fell. He'll be answering all your questions. Do post your questions, though, on the Tribal Council as well. We're going to give you folks, first dibs on getting the incomparable Irish O'Fell his time.
Incomparable.
Answering your questions. I mean, dude, we talked about this at lunch. If I was a member and it was going to be like free reign on Ira just to empty out his mental notebook on what he's seen, knows, man, that's the kind of stuff I want as a subscriber.
Yeah.
I don't want these odes to, the basketball team.
Yeah, nobody cares about those group of guys. Why would you? Yeah. They're only 24-6.
What are some observations that you had from I know, good grief. I mean, we did
How about
video,
that? Did you read that?
We did a column.
Did you read my thing? Or did I put on War Chant?
I was there next to you. You had a really strong Wednesday, Corey. You had a lot of initiative.
I felt bad. I didn't feel like I carried my weight on Monday. Plus, Gene came to me about halfway through the practice and said, "Do you have any observations?" And I was talking with my two Army buddies. I think they're Army recruiters. And I hadn't really been watching a whole lot. So I'm like, I've been watching, but it's like they're going through position drills. There's not really a lot to glean So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to make up for that and chart every single play in 7-on-7 and 11-on-11.
He did. Corey did that. Do you remember it, or should I pull it up and start talking about it?
Well, no, I remember. We don't need to go. Again, we don't want to give away the cow when you can have the milk for free or whatever it's called, however that saying goes. But I remember that Blackman was easily the best. I think that resonated more even on Wednesday than it did on Monday. And it makes sense. You have one eligible scholarship quarterback. He, to me, is miles ahead of the other guys on the depth chart. He just is. There is a noticeable it's a big drop. And I'm not even saying Blackman's like a future NFL guy, but is a big drop from 1 to 2 and from 1 to 3. Who I don't know how that's going to shake out. Who's going to be second string, who's going to be third string, but it's a pretty big drop in my opinion. Ball's just he's got a better arm, comes out cleaner, comes out quicker, gets there faster. All that stuff is riding in James Blackman in his favor.
We'll see how much it matters at the end of the day, but it does look like the difference. He looks significantly better. I mean, just the way the ball is thrown, his mechanics. But again, I mean, how much
is supposed to be, right? Though, right?
Yeah, I mean, Jimbo Fisher picked you out of the bunch, man. He brought you here. You've been here now for 3 years.
Well, he's played look, the other Nolan McDonald's never played in a college game, and neither one of those guys have ever played in a college game. Neither's Jordan Travis.
Yeah.
Has Jordan Travis?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. He played at Louisville?
Yep, stand by first snap.
Don't leave. No, I don't believe that at all. I don't know why you're making up stuff and lying to people, but whatever gets you through the day. But either way, he's the most experienced guy. Certainly, I can't imagine old Jordan Travis is thrown for 420 yards in a game.
4 completions on 14 attempts. That's a 28.6% completion percentage, 71 yards, a touchdown, and a pick.
Oh, so he's thrown a college touchdown. There you go, Jordan.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, James Blackman was noticeably better. He's got more experience, and he should be better, and he is. So you're hoping that the other guys don't play at all. And I'm not saying the other two guys are terrible. I guess you could go win with them.
Because you're a nice guy and you don't want to be a jerk.
No, you could maybe go win with them. But it's obvious to me, and again, he's the starter. We all know James Blackman's the starter. Asante Samuel was yelling at him on Monday about him knowing he's the starter. So that's not.
And then on Wednesday, somebody was yelling, "Man, put one back in."
I think that might have been Asante Samuel. What did he say?
Quit playing.
Quit tripping.
Quit
tripping and put one in because they want the thinking there. I assume is we want real competition. Put in one so we can go against the best. Is that's what was implied to me.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, one is the best. It's not close, but it's not supposed to be close. He is the starter. You hope one of those other two guys, we don't know if Jordan Travis is going to be eligible. If he's eligible, or if Nolan McDonald can get, you got to have a viable backup. Right now, we don't know if they have one.
Yeah. I sort of walked back. My sentiment was just think about how tough of a situation it was for James in 2017 to come in after DeAndre went down against Alabama and try to pick up, Jimbo's offense in 2 months' time that you'd been on campus and then be thrust into a starting job with a team that was preseason ranked number 3. I mean, just how tough that was. That it didn't really matter who was going to back up James because at the end of the day, the Browns offense kind of speaks for itself. It's plug and play. They figure out some way to squeeze water out of a stone. That no matter who backs them up, they'll be entering a much easier, better, palatable situation than James entered in 2017. I don't know though, man. It's been tough sledding out there for everybody, even James when it comes to going 11-on-11 and
11-on-11 they do nothing.
Yeah,
I charted that. I think they had 8 drives, didn't score a point, never got. I think they might have gone across the 50 once.
Yeah.
Out of the 8 drives.
And it was Nolan McDonald, I think that was the.
Yeah, I don't think James Blackman had 4 drives. I don't think any of them. They started at the 25. I don't think any of them got to the 50. Threw a pick on a great play by Asante Samuel. That was just an incredible diving interception. And they just, it's you can't really judge 11-on-11 with no pads.
Yes.
It's hard for the offensive lineman to block anyway. It's especially hard when there's no pads. So and then also and they had some nice runs up the middle, but anytime a defender gets close to a ball carrier, whether it's a guy that caught a pass or the running back, they blow the play dead. So there's no way that Cam Akers, the first guy that comes into contact with him 7 yards downfield, is going to stop him right there. He might tackle him, but he's going to bounce. He's going to fall forward for a few yards. But So you can't really judge. You can judge the passing game though. In the passing game, they're getting pressured a lot. I think the other two quarterbacks feel it a lot more than James does. He gets out of his hand quicker. But the passing game really struggles with all of it, timing, rhythm, so far in the 11-on-11.
And that's not to say that it's not going to get better.
It should get,
There's 13 more
yeah.
practices. They'll have time to build their bodies and get stronger and better, and then, then they'll have preseason camp, and then they'll have 13 weeks of football, 14 weeks, right? Because there's 2 bye weeks these
You got it
now.
right. You got it right.
14
Plus, you
weeks
got
to get
the
better.
championship game,
Yeah.
ACC championship game, and then you got either the playoff or the bowl. So you're looking at 16 weeks.
They'll be all right.
They should be okay. Yeah, I'm really not discouraged. Again, I think that I thought there was a stretch there where the offense played pretty well. I think Dante Lucas has a chance. He certainly is high on himself, which is good. Yeah, I mean, again, that's not a joke.
Yeah.
You better have some confidence when you play that position. And the DBs are certainly very confident in themselves.
Yeah, good grief. Yeah, I do wonder how many new faces will be on the offensive line because, Lucas is one of the guys you would imagine. The redshirt freshmen are all second-teamers, Goss and Neal and Meadows and Armstrong. But again, it's 2 practices. We'll see how that depth chart shakes up. But that was one of the things out there was like, watch, there'll be at least three new faces on the offensive line in 19 compared to 18. It's like, well, not quite yet there.
Not yet.
Anyway, all right. Otherwise, yeah, it was whatever we said on Monday still applies now. Otherwise, shall we continue? Shall we get on some ponies?
We should.
Or have some
Let's
ponies
do
coming
it.
us?
Let's do it. Is it coming?
There we go.
Oh, boy.
Oh, buddy. All right, first one, BC Knoll 16. Good morning, evening, fellas. Love the show. As always, Corey, I heard you talk about finite and infinite the other day. Reminded me about how I will sometimes say Kansas like Kansas and Arkansas like Arkansas. What other words can you do that
Lawrence,
with?
Kansas? That's awesome.
Yeah. What other words can you do that with? I mean, data.
Yeah. Annals of history and annals of history.
Somebody started a poll the other day asking if we should replace the woo after the 3 Florida states in the fight song. I say no, but if we ever did, I suggest that we do our best cameo impression and say, "Wired up." What say you, gents? Also, I'd like to ask my gorgeous wife, see Avatar, "Word up," in place of "okay," "all right," or "capiche." And if her response is agreeable, then it would be "word up" back to me. Can both of you give me your best? Word up.
Well, you heard Aslan.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to do that. But I say word all the time. You can attest to that.
Yeah,
Anytime we're making plans over text, I just say word.
Yep.
And, yeah, the woo and the fight song, how do you feel as an alumni? I mean, I've been doing it for 35 years.
I'll never stop
Florida
doing
State,
it.
Florida State, Florida State.
Woo! Yeah, let's
all right.
do it, man.
Like Ric Flair?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes it a little cooler if you associate it with Ric Flair.
Right.
It's weird that whoever wrote the fight song originally, I know the guy, I can't remember his
Tommy
name.
Wright.
There you go. Did he anticipate the woos, or is that something that was added, like the what?
Yeah.
Like was
Gosh, that gets people really.
Yeah, but I mean,
verklempt.
did he write it hoping
With
that
it in
people
there.
did he add the woos himself? Like "She Loves You"? Yeah, the Beatles added the yeah. Did he add the woo in the fight song, or did that come organically?
Well, it's too late to ask that question now.
I
Corey.
guess maybe there's been a book written on it or something, but yeah, I think word up would be cool if you did get rid of the woos.
Florida State.
Word up.
Nah, I don't know. Cleve Dog, FSU22, Aslan Corey, wake up your wake. I am feeling the video that War Chant posted. I'm loving every minute of it. Scary Terry will shatter records this season, and our Seminoles will rock the college football world. I'm a little disappointed about the NCAA not giving Coach Kelly the waiver, but life moves on. I was wondering how this will play out for next season as I looked at the talented defensive backs and future recruits. Hate to sound biased, but I think Coach T. Buckley would be an awesome addition to the coaching staff. Love the show.
I feel like you know where we stand, dear listener, on T-Buck. He is obviously he's part of the Wake Up War Chant family.
Right.
And we would want nothing more than for him to join us here in Tallahassee. Yeah. As a lifelong fan of that guy, and also he seems to be a pretty good coach.
Is there anything on the table single season record-wise, you think? Well, that's kind of a bizarre question. Like, is there anything that he can get single season record-wise, Terry, if everything goes well? Like, I don't think he'll get catches in a single season, but
I mean, what's the yardage?
Yards?
I mean, I kind of figure Sellers had a ton of yards in those because he only played 3 years and he had the all-time record. He had to have, I think he had like 4 or 5 200-yard games. I don't think so. Touchdowns, maybe? Who has the record for touchdowns in a season? Look that up.
Gosh, I want to almost
get on NoleFan.org.
Is that where I would go to?
Yeah, I think so. They have the top 25
I was almost going to say like Andre Cooper. I wanted to say for some reason.
I think he had 14 in a year. That's a lot. If you could get to 14, you're having a nice year. Heck,
There's coaching records, conference results, opponent index of players, top 25 club. Is that it?
Yeah, go to that.
Okay, we're going to go.
By the way, while you're doing that, I would say I grew up my whole life thinking Hershey was pronounced Hersey.
Oh, Kyle, stop it.
So I thought it was Hersey, Pennsylvania, and a Hersey kiss. I didn't realize I was wrong until I was Seminole Headlines a few years ago. And to go on a completely darker subject, my girlfriend, Stephanie, thought that it was pronounced genocide.
You guys don't make any
Genocide? Really? That's crazier than Hersey, right?
Yes, for sure.
All right.
So I was in the gifted program, believe it or not.
No, don't brag.
And went out. It was funny because this one lady, her son played soccer with me, and she tried to befriend my mom, and my mom just,
wasn't having it.
Not having it. But anywho, it was like really up my mom's rear end about like, oh, how did you get Az on the gifted? Like, what can I do to get my son into it and all this sort of stuff. And I remember I spent the night over. We had like a sleepover for the soccer team at his house, and then like the next morning we went to like the grocery store to like grab breakfast or something, and there was a jar of pickles, and it said it was, I guess they were Polish pickles, but I said polish.
Oh.
And just the incredulent look on her face,
right? That
her baby was not in gifted, and then my stupid,
you thought it was Polish.
He said
Polish pickles.
He said Polish pickles. What an idiot!
Right.
I'll never forget that.
Well, apparently, obviously.
All right,
you won though. You ended up winning. What's that guy doing now?
Receiving receptions in a season is Rashad with 99.
Okay, he's not getting that.
That ain't happening. Yards is Ron Sellers with 1496.
That could be in play.
Yeah.
That's about, what is that, about 110, 120 a game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, back then he averaged 149 a game because it was 10
but
games.
You get 2 or 3
bonus.
extra games. So
yeah, Andre Cooper, 15 touchdowns, 1995. That's in play.
Yeah. I think you get to both of those, Tamorian.
Okay. All right.
T-Dog, T-Squared, Scary Terry.
Bo Knowles. Oh, geez, sorry. That was really loud.
Really loud
yeah.
there.
Like I told you, I'm all out of it, so I have you plugged into what channel I'm usually in. And anywho, Bo Knowles. Enjoy the show, fellas. What player would each of you pick as the guy who's going to burst onto the scene this year, much like Terry did last year? Also, Death Row, last meal, what are you guys having? Hashtag from Cali to Tally.
Ooh, death. Probably turkey and dressing. My grandmom's turkey and dressing.
Okay.
She actually, it's not my grandmom, it's my aunt. But
story,
but
she's older.
She just passed away, so she can't make that anymore. But if she were still alive, that's what I'd ask. I don't know if she'd make it for me if I was on death row.
Right.
She's a very religious woman. She probably might have some qualms with that. But that would be my all-time meal. If not that, steak and lobster tail with drawn butter. I want it, and I want it warm. If it's not warm, I'm sending it back.
What's drawn butter?
Like melted butter.
Oh.
Drawn butter.
I've never heard that before. Sorry.
Oh, boy. Well, I think that kid's mom might have been right. Might have been onto something.
Hey, man. It's different heritage and cultures.
Polished pickles.
We don't say that stuff.
And what was the other question? Oh, and
who's going to burst onto the scene much like Terry did last year? Robert Cooper? I don't think so. That position's thankless.
Yeah.
Being in the trenches like that.
Jordan
Young?
It's hard, man. He's done. Yeah, that's a tough one. I like Anthony Grant. Think he can play a little bit. We don't know what LeBourne's going to be. Does LeBourne count as bursting on the scene? He had one spring game and then he had 2 plays last year. I feel like maybe he'd be somebody that you could say could burst on the scene. If he's okay, if he's not okay, but he's still going through all this stuff now. 6 months from now, you got to figure he's 100%, and that dude's pretty awesome.
Bo, follow up with us before spring game weekend when we do our last Renegade Express of spring, and ask us. Let's get a few more. I mean, we're not going to be able to watch practice to the depths that we did Monday and Wednesday, but at least we'll be able to watch it once a week, and we might be able to get a little better idea. But I don't know if Akeem Dent might find some sort of way. I don't know. There's just a lot
Akeem
of
Dent had 2 interceptions, back-to-back plays on Wednesday. Now, they were thrown by the 4th string. Well, I just put in their 4th string quarter. I don't know his name. Correct. And he
Alex
doesn't.
Elisami.
Okay, and no offense to the kid at all, I promise.
We're not going at anybody.
He doesn't need to be doing that. He really.
That wasn't nice.
Well, but you saw it. Like
I saw it.
He's just throwing it up for grabs.
Right.
In fact, there was a play, the second interception, Akeem Dent picked off. Tamori Terry's like, y'all really going to count that? So, anyway.
FSU 30606. Portland, Oregon chiming in again. You questioned the 30606 in my handle once before. I don't even remember.
We do that.
You're back? Where you been, man?
Come on,
he's
Portland.
Probably one of these people who's like posts during the season and goes away and then comes back. Probably has like a life or whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
It's an Athens zip code, where I was when I joined warchant.com in 2002. Anyways, it's not always wake up out here on the West Coast. When your hot episode drops on Stitcher late night on the East Coast, it's sometimes 9 or 10 here, and you fellas are getting played when I'm in bed.
Ooh.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, maybe in my eardrums, guys. All right, now that I've got your attention. Curiosity brings me to the FSU football Instagram account. Their Instagram stories are nicely done, especially with the videos. The point of view gives the viewer the perspective that one feels part of the action. It's a nice cinematic touch. The photos a lot of times often offer a unique perspective as well. My questions are, how does this stack up against other universities? Are other universities making the account look like child's play? Who runs the account, such as staff, the university? And how appealing is it to the recruits? Bottom line, how important are these things for recruits? Keep up the great entertainment and work, guys. I can't answer that. I don't know how important is it to recruits.
Really,
who support a lot of these schools, though, because every school has these folks now.
And pay them good money.
Yeah.
The FSU social media faction has drawn some fire from fans of late. But it is, I guess, in this day and age, it's important. I guess for the brand, that's maybe. I just can't imagine it helps with a recruit at all. How could a recruit be swayed by a Twitter feed?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't. But I think the kids on campus, if they're doing the stuff that these schools do, appreciate it. Typically appreciate seeing pictures of themselves and video of themselves and everything else. I don't know. It's
for the fans. It's for the fans.
It's for the fans, but the players also enjoy it. But I cannot speak to how other schools do it because I don't follow any other schools. Yeah. I just don't know.
I don't have Instagram, so I don't know what Florida State's really doing. I follow Florida.
You're not on the IG?
I don't even think I follow Florida State football. Actually, no, I do follow Florida State football on Twitter. I used to follow Florida State athletics. Like, isn't there like an overall athletics feed?
On Instagram?
No, on Twitter.
Yeah.
I remember I unfollowed them because of the logo change. So my compromise was like, well, I'll follow the football program, but I'm not gonna respect the entire athletics program for doing this. But
right.
I'll stick with
You've held
Jimbo.
5 years later. You're still holding to that.
You gotta have someone's got. If you
if
don't stand for anything,
you stand for nothing.
Right?
Yeah, I got you.
You fall for anything or whatever. I will say this, and I know people hate it when I compliment the state of Mississippi on this show. Mississippi State and Ole Miss, their digital media departments, especially Ole Miss, do run circles around what Florida State's doing. Ole Miss literally does a Hard Knocks for their football season and even their basketball season. It's called the season. Now they should probably work on
just for the
branding that a little bit
just
better.
For the social media.
No, I mean it's on YouTube.
Wow.
They do put teasers on Twitter and things like that as well. But like, Florida State has a digital media team,
right?
And there's maybe half dozen, 10 folks in that department. I don't know how many are in Ole Miss, but Ole Miss, the equivalent of that they have, the stuff they put together is really impressive. Like the same people that do those like cool introductory hype videos during the basketball games, like during the timeouts, like those folks like that Ole Miss has are incredible. Like they've won like literally.
Well, they got all that SEC money though.
That.
They got all that SEC money.
They were doing all that before. It got to a point where even Mississippi State fans were so envious about that, and it was a point of contention that Mississippi State really invested in that portion. They got a guy, kind of their Tim Lenefeld alumnus, a really good writer, really involved, immersed himself into the culture.
So not like Tim Lenefeld then, if he's a good writer, really good writer. Hey yo,
that's not very nice.
Did that 2 times in a row.
But then they branched down. They actually got a video. Last Chance U, the guy that was their sports information / video director, producer guy, they hired him away from that place, EMCC, East Mississippi Community College. And now Mississippi State does some pretty cool stuff that you would see on occasion. Like, dang, man, like what are they doing? But Florida State, they're trying, man. They're trying.
Let's take this time to tell people to follow us on Twitter. Obviously, you need to follow Wake Up War Chant on Twitter.
All one word.
You need to follow Corey_Clark on Twitter.
Corey with an E, Clark without the E.
Correct. You need to follow Aslan Hodges,
which we still got to figure that
out
on
Twitter, and follow War Chant in general on Twitter.
Mm-hmm. Grumpy BK, wake up, dudes. What does the latest scan of the portal show? Who is still in and who has taken their name out? Any high-risk players we need to watch through spring ball? Yeah, that I don't know. Sorry, Grumpy. We don't have access to the portal.
We don't, and I haven't noticed anybody that should be out there that isn't. Right. So, it seems like they're all – again, that's the one thing that –
Dickerson is out, though. Ira mentioned that to me last week, and I never followed with our viewers.
He's out what?
He's out of the portal.
Oh, okay,
he
was at practice today, but he was out for a little bit of practice too. Yeah, that's what Taggart said though on Monday about David Kelly being the recruiting coordinator. He's like, now you have to recruit your own team too, so it is a full-time job.
Crazy, right?
The old portal.
Candy for Knowles. I posted this question elsewhere, but see if you guys have a thought or maybe a phone a friend. Oh gosh, Coach Kelly. He's now listed as recruiting coordinator, but occupies an on-the-field spot, so he is allowed to have off-campus contact with kids. If he moves to an off-the-field spot next year to allow for the hiring of another position coach, does that mean he no longer can have off-campus contact with kids? Yes.
Correct. Yes.
So that strength will be negated, I guess somewhat. Will he go back to being just a program manager consultant with no recruiting duties? I thought that was one of his strengths.
I think he'll be he can have contact with them when they come on campus, and he could be a director of player ops. He could figure out
he'll be player personnel
and who they should be calling more. He can do all that stuff. He just can't go and visit these kids starting next year, most likely, because he also won't be the recruiting coordinator next year, because you wouldn't want to have a recruiting coordinator that can't visit kids. Aren't all recruiting coordinators also on the field coaches? Hasn't that always been the case throughout college football history? So I don't think he's going to be the recruiting coordinator next year, unless the rules of coaching changes.
I don't know.
Like Tim Brewster was the recruiting coordinator, right? He wasn't an off-the-field person.
John Lilly was back in the day.
Ronnie Cottrell. I mean, going way back. Yeah. I mean, everybody that's been a recruiting coordinator. I can't remember who it was before Brewster. Was it Jay Graham? Who was it?
No, Jay Graham got here, and he got here after Brewster. They came in together. Yeah, who was Jimbo's first group? Was Eddie Grand the guy?
Yeah, and he was a running backs coach. Yeah. So, that's how the recruiting coordinator normally works. He's a position coach as well. I don't think I'd be surprised if you had a recruiting coordinator that didn't have but maybe that's the way. Maybe that's why they have the 10 coach rule now. I don't know. Who knows? Asking the wrong people.
Don't say that. Yeah, no, I mean, they're spinning it in a way that makes this seem like somewhat of a evil genius, innovative move, which in some instances it possibly could be. Maybe Nick Saban's sitting in his tower in Tuscaloosa thinking, how did I just get outfoxed by Willie Taggart?
Yeah.
We'll see. Tennis Ump, thanks, guys, for your work every day. Interesting comment by DJ on Wednesday when asked about Coach Briles that he said, y'all don't like him, but I love him. Any thoughts on why he thinks the media thinks that way? Thanks.
I feel like you misheard him. He didn't say that. What did he say? He said, I think he said y'all will like him, but I love him. Yeah. He definitely didn't say y'all don't like him. I'm positive of that. I think he said y'all are going to like it. The context was, the sentiment was, and I can't remember the direct quote, but is it you guys are going to like him? He definitely did not say
you're going to like the way he coaches. I guarantee it.
Yeah, right. He definitely didn't say you guys don't like him. So yeah, no, that's not correct.
Man, DJ is 21 going on 51. Look, my guy looks old, man. He looks like he's seen some wars, man.
Yeah, weathered.
Weathered, yeah. Do you know where in the interview it happened? It's a minute 43. I can't patch it through what we're doing here in person. But all right, yeah. So Tennis Ump, relax, man.
But yeah, I promise that wasn't what he said.
Just kidding. We're friends.
Or unless I completely misheard him.
Yeah.
Which, if that's the case, I apologize, and I don't know the answer to that.
True, Noel. Good morning, fellas. 8 a.m. practices are back. Wake up.
Indeed.
Good Lord,
especially like the 32 degrees. That's the best.
Oh. Saw an interesting take on the coaching situation. At least one national guy thinks having a full-time coordinator who can also go on the road to visit players during the week might be an advantage that can be exploited. We'll see how it works out with the on-field product, but I think I'm going to like this. Question. An apocalyptic nightmare scenario almost too bleak to contemplate, one in which both of you are the President of the United States candidates running against each other to be leader of the free world. What would each of your campaign slogans be?
Oh, boy. Okay, high-speed rail, first and foremost.
That's not a slogan.
Oh, my slogan would be
like MAGA's a slogan.
Get on board.
Get on board.
And it's all about high-speed rail. People, if you think about it, what the airline industry has done to us for decades. Now we're going to pay for snacks. We got to pay to put our luggage on the plane. They're always late. They're delayed. They're just canceling flights left and right. Meanwhile, if we developed high-speed rail like they have in Japan or Europe and actually got these things moving at 200 miles an hour instead of 50 miles an hour like they move now, like it's quicker now to get in a horse and carriage and go across the country than it is a train. But when Corey Clark becomes president, number one, it makes us less dependent on fossil fuels.
Okay.
Makes us less dependent on the airline industry and big airplane that's been running this country forever. It also puts a lot of people to work, laying track, just like the 1880s?
Laying track.
just like the 1880s? Put a lot of people to work, man.
Oh, man. Boy,
Build the track. Build that track. That'll be what they're chanting at my rallies. Folks, who's against that? Nobody. What are you laughing at? What about you, Aslan?
I don't know if I should know. I wish I would have read this beforehand. I don't know. I would, you know how there's Honest Abe? This one would be called maybe Sensible Slan.
I mean, I feel like I'm going to win in a landslide. Okay. It's going to be the bigger electoral victory than Donald Trump's.
Well, it's Reagan-Mondale probably is less.
Well, I know, but Trump always says it's like the biggest one in history. Yeah, I think Mondale only won one state, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
And it was his own, where he was the governor.
Minnesota, maybe?
Minnesota, yeah.
I said Minneapolis. Sorry, buddy. I know the difference.
That's where we'll be in a few weeks.
Man, what my campaign slogan be? I do have some thoughts about maybe going back home. If my hometown of Eastlake ever becomes incorporated and becomes its own city, I would like to go back and become the mayor. But we're just like I don't know what we are. We're almost like Killarn of Tallahassee. We're our own city, but we're not.
Right.
We get the county sheriff is who's our police. We don't have city police or anything like that. But hopefully we'll change.
So you
want to
go be like a city commissioner or something?
No, I want to be the mayor, man.
Oh, okay.
Got a lot of pride.
Right.
Man. Let's keep it high class, rich.
That's good. That's good.
Well, my family's middle class. We snuck in there. We got in there at the right time. We got in there at the right time. Is a good.
I feel like you could use ass somewhere in your slogan.
Hey guys, Kadar from New York City. If Bryles has the success we all anticipate, success always gives me problems.
Yeah,
you know what else gives me problems? Shoulder surgery. When I'd have to, player
say that
on TV, I'd read off a teleprompter,
Did you ever see the ESPN, the slip disc in the neck?
Oh, jeez, yeah. It was Steve Levy, yeah.
Yeah, and then Olbermann, and everybody laughed. Have you ever read the behind the scenes of that?
No.
So he's supposed to say slipped disc in his neck.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't say disc. He says another word that you can, and they're in Olbermann, the whole studio was laughing, and he's trying to get through the highlights because he kept going. And then Olbermann thought they were cutting back to him. And so he said, thank God we don't have footage of that in the neck injury or the disc injury. But it was still on Levy, so he had to keep going, and Levy just lost it. And Olbermann felt really bad that he thought he was supposed to be talking, but it was still Levy's turn. But that's a good YouTube clip, folks, if you can find it. That and Charlie Steiner making fun of Carl Lewis singing the national anthem. Francis Scott off-key.
It's Kadar from New York City.
So what was the question?
If Bryles has the success we all anticipate he will have in turning the offense around, over under, how many years you think him and Clements will be here? I'll set it at 3.5.
I would set it less than that. If he can turn this into just a reasonable facsimile of what he's had at other places. You're not going to average 40 a game in the ACC unless you're Clemson right now or you're Jameis in 13. It's a real conference. It's not Rice you're playing. But if you can get up to 30, 31, you can get this program back to 9 wins, 10 wins. I think you can, and it's Florida State. It's not like you're the OC at Houston anymore, the OC at FIU. I think you can get a Power 5 job as a head coach. Now, again, the last name is the last name, and heaven knows I wrote about that. But it is the last name. It'll scare maybe some suitors off, some trustee members off at a particular school, but they're also going to now have 3 different schools he's been at besides Baylor to talk to with references. And at the end of the day, if you win football games, I hate to be cynical or callous, that's what matters most. And if he's got a lot of people saying positive things about him in Tallahassee, wherever FAU is or FIU is,
Boca Raton FAU,
in Houston, that he's going to be a head coach. I don't know I assume Clements goes with him too, but I think he'll be a head coach if he can do the job that we think he can do here.
10 seconds. If he goes, was there any way he would not come back? If they went
After
5-7, would they let him go if they only went 7-5?
I can't imagine.
All right,
unless they're all gone, unless
right.
it's a sweeping.
All right, this battery's probably going to die again. Let's try to hustle through this. We got 3 questions left. Maxwell Gibbs, hola, gentlemen. Last week, coming to you from the East Village in New York City. This weekend, my fiance and I are moving to the Upper West Side and are exactly 1 block away from Central Park.
This guy.
Good for
Come
you.
on,
Notable
Maxwell.
residents of the Upper West Side include Bob Costas, Howard Stern, Steve Martin, just to name a few. You've gotten to see
the Gellers.
You've gotten to see 2 full practices so far. What are your initial thoughts? What's the biggest difference aside from no music or no drills? Well, there is no drill. Music is back. My initial thought is it feels, I don't know, there's just something about the way the offense is being run, the way the practice is being run. I just feel Maybe because there isn't any music. I just feel like it's been more workmanlike. I feel like there's been more accomplished. I think there's more reps being done. I think there is less waiting and twiddling thumbs.
I don't remember as much talking between the receivers and DBs last year. Maybe it was because Tamorrion Terry wasn't Tamorrion Terry yet. Yeah. He's the biggest talker of the receivers, I think. He's out
garbage,
there. He's calling everybody out there garbage, really picking his teammates up. But I mean, again, that's competition. That's just them, being competitors on a field. I don't hold that against them, but I think that's the biggest thing that I've seen. And then it's going to sound like a shot. It's not. I don't see as many odd drills these first two practices that I saw last year, whether it was catching punts, with another ball in your hand, or falling on the ground for some reason and getting back up. These weird things that recovering fumbles. I think right now it's install and it's fundamentals. They're not doing the stuff that I remember from last year so much.
Georgia Knowles 86, wake up! Do you think we see a drastic change in production from the offensive line this season? Do you think Cam Akers leaves after his junior season? Absolutely. On the latter part of Cam leaving, I don't think he comes back. Drastic change, that's such a subjective term, drastic, in production from the offensive line. Listen, there's bodies there. You got to have faith. If Randy Clements and this thing has ran well for however long he's been doing this, he's going to find 5 guys over the next 6 months that they're going to be able to move guys and hold the point of attack. So drastic, I don't know what you guys think drastic. Are they look like 2013? No.
Can they look like 2016?
Yeah.
But is that drastic? Would you consider that drastic? I think I might. And nobody liked the 2016 offensive line. It wasn't very good, quite honestly. But that would almost qualify as a drastic improvement from what we saw in 2018. I think it could get to somewhat like to that level, maybe. You hope.
Yeah.
They're all experienced. They got a year under their belt. You got my man Pope Lucas in there. He's going to probably be playing some. Let's see what happens. But no, I don't think it's going to be drastic as in like 13 or 14. It's not going to be a good offensive line.
Yeah.
It could be serviceable.
Quick thought before we go to the last question. Greg Fry will have some soul searching to do, I think, if Bavion Johnson turns out to do well this year, I would think.
Yeah, big baby.
Davis Empire _ no blooded. Wake up, Duval. T-Buck for president. Hey, Ashland. Come on, man. You didn't even spell my name right. That's the show. We'll talk to you guys next week.
What is that?
It's Davis Empire. I'm going to call you Davidson Empire. Ashland, if you were to DJ at practice.
Well, it could have just been a typo.
All right, we'll give him benefit of the doubt.
Just been a typo, man.
Ashland, if you were to DJ at practice, what song would you play to get the team amped up? Seosin, It's Far Better to Learn. That's a white rock band, so to not be accused of being – some guy accused me of being racist on Twitter. I should read the tweet. Give me some give me Pac. Give me not Hit 'Em Up. Give me When We Ride. It's
okay. All right.
Disc 2 of All Eyes on Me, track 5. That one gets the blood going.
I would say Shoop by Salt and Pepper.
He didn't ask you that.
He didn't ask me? That was just for you? Okay.
By the way, this guy said, Aslan, you're a hypocrite, racist jerk. Now you want a coach who is laid back. Well, you have that already in the black guy. I downloaded the podcast for the last year. It will be broadcast all over social media. So this might be my last show, everybody.
Oh, all right. Okay,
It's
man.
been good knowing you.
Yeah.
The question for you,
Good
Corey.
run.
Corey, if we move David Kelly to an off-field position and hired you as a coach, what side of the ball fits you best, and what position would you coach?
Offense, and I feel like I'd probably be a receivers coach, not a running backs coach, because I was kind of blessed with some shiftiness and some fast twitch. You've seen it in action, my fast twitch muscle fibers. So I kind of think like a running back already, kind of move like one. And, I just feel like that fits me better than any other position. Although quarterback, again, I see in like dimensions, like Jimbo. Like it all makes sense to me, kind of like a beautiful mind. It just all comes together. So maybe all of them? Now that I think about it, probably all of them.
Good stuff. Good answer, Corey. Anything poignant for us before we end the week?
No, just everybody know that I love them.
WarChant.com is the ultimate inside source for FSU football and recruiting. And now you can get in on the action for free for an entire month. WarChant.com is offering a risk-free 30-day trial subscription. Get full access to the #1 website covering the Seminoles just by entering the promo code WarChant30. That's WarChant30. Sign up and get in on the world's most active FSU message boards. Receive breaking news, stories from our award-winning staff, plus get exclusive interviews and videos. Just enter the promo code WarChant30. WarChant.com, your ultimate Seminole sports source.